If you're a makeup artist or hairstylist who works in the wedding industry, then you'll know how important it is for many of your brides to do a trial, whether that be a makeup trial, a hair trial, or a combined trial if you do both. And these days, it's not just our brides who are looking to do trials. I do trials for my formal girls and sometimes even the mums. I do see a lot of questions about trials on various different Facebook groups. Hey there, I'm Sue Louise, and today's video is all about trials. When should you do them? Why should you do them? How long should they last? And how much should you charge for them? So firstly, let's talk about the purpose of a trial. On the surface of it, it seems fairly straightforward. The purpose of a trial is for the bride to be able to try out the makeup look or the hair look that she has thought that she wants to go with on her big day. Now, often what I find is that my clients will choose a look that might be quite different from what they're used to. Maybe they don't wear makeup at all and they do want to go, they're thinking about going with something glamorous for the wedding. And what often happens is once they see that makeup on themselves, they decide that, you know what, this is not really for me and this is not really what I want to look like on my wedding day. So what happens then is you turn up on the wedding day and they'll say, look, I love what we did at the trial, but it's not really me, so can we maybe go with something a bit more natural? For a lot of my clients, learning what they don't like is just as important as getting that look nailed down. So even if she left the trial completely happy and loving the look, it might not be what she wants to go for on the big day. So that's about what the actual look is like, and that is a really important reason to do a trial. The other thing, the other part of doing the trial is for the bride to get to know you a little bit. Now, obviously, as her makeup artist or hairstylist, you're going to be spending a significant amount of time with her on one of the most important days of her life. And therefore, it's important for both of you that you do get along. She wants to know that she can feel confident and relaxed in your very capable hands. And so that is a big part of a trial. So I always recommend when you are doing a trial that you're not rushed and you're not tired. And of course, that is one of the important things about our job on the wedding day. It's not just to make the bride look beautiful, but it's to make her feel wonderful as well. And a big part of that on her wedding day, a day that she's very nervous, is going to be creating that really calm environment in the lead up to her walking down the aisle. So talking about the reasons why we would want to do a trial brings me on to, should trials be compulsory? Now, I have a little bit of a different viewpoint on this than a lot of other makeup artists and educators. I do hear some artists and educators out there recommending that trials be compulsory and that you absolutely should insist that your brides do a trial. The reason I don't agree with this is, I guess, because my start as a makeup artist, and particularly in the wedding industry, was in a destination wedding area. So over 90% of the brides I used to do were coming in from out of town. And for the most part, I didn't get to meet them until the wedding day. So I grew very accustomed to just being able to wing it on the day. Now, if you're not working in a destination wedding area, you may have the luxury of being able to do a trial all the time. But let's be honest, for some brides, it's really not a top priority with them. Of course, for us, it's all about makeup and hairstyling. But for some of our clients, that might be quite low on their priority list, and we need to respect their wishes there. If a bride of mine does not want to have the trial, then I'm totally fine with that. I just make sure that I have good communication leading up to the wedding and that I do allow some extra time on the day as a bit of a buffer so we can have that chat on the day and make sure that we get everything as she wants it. Now, if you do have any aspirations of working in film, TV, with celebrities, commercial work, editorial, those sort of things, well, you never get to do a trial when you're working in that part of the industry. So I think it's really good to be able to learn to work just by using your communication with the bride or your client and not to always have to rely on a trial. And then, of course, there are the times when the bride wants to have a trial for her mum, her bridesmaids, all the other people. And I hear some artists saying, oh, I don't want to do a trial for all those extra people. I think, hell yeah, you want to pay me? Sure, I'll do the trial. Absolutely. And for some people, they do want that peace of mind. I'm finding more and more that I'm doing trials for mums now, and even trials for mums of my formal girls or prom girls. So, a lot of the time I find that mothers of the bride or mothers of the prom girls may never have had their makeup done before, and they can be a little bit nervous about it, particularly if they're looking at the looks that their daughters are going for and they're very much into the glam, Instaglam sort of makeup, and a lot of mums are going to be a little bit nervous that they might look like that too. So for that reason, I don't have a problem with doing a makeup trial for the mum or anyone else who wants one either. So when should you do a trial? Obviously, it's not ideal if you're doing a trial right before the wedding, but it's also not ideal if you do the trial too far before the wedding. The sweet spot for me is somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks before the wedding or event. If you're allowing that much time, there's time if the bride needs to go off and get a brow wax or anything else that you might need to recommend that she does before the big day. But it's also usually the time where she has got all of her details organized. So she's got the dress, the flowers, the jewelry, all of those sort of things have been finalized. So when you're creating her makeup or hair look, you can tie everything in with all the other details for her wedding and make sure you get everything to be working well together. Of course, if you're doing the trial way before the wedding, chances are that she might change her mind. She might not have got her dress finalised yet, and she might not really have that much of an idea. And as I said, she might change her mind again before the big day. Sometimes your bride or your client might like to do her trial before she actually books in, and that's fine. In that case, if I've got a bride who is booking a long way in advance, I'm more than happy to do the trial before she books if that's what she wants to do. But I also do make it very clear that if she wants to have another trial closer to the wedding day, that will be at an additional charge. How long should you allow for the trial? Obviously, when you're doing a trial, you're not under pressure of time constraints. You haven't got a photographer arriving in 30 minutes or whatever. So you do have a little bit more time. At the trial, I like to make sure that I sit down with my client and really communicate really well to try and get an idea of not only the look that she's going for, but a really good idea about the overall theme of her wedding or event, and a little bit of an insight into her personality as well. So if I find out that she's a really kind of laid back, relaxed sort of person that never normally wears makeup, then I'm probably going to tone down the makeup look that I suggest we create for her. I generally allow an additional 50%. So if I'm doing a makeup only trial, normally I allow an hour for a makeup application. I'd allow an hour and a half for the trial. For hair and makeup, for the trial, I like to allow anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. So what you would normally do, but then a little bit of extra time as well. Now, I think it's really important when you are booking in your trials to set some boundaries. This is not just a time when the bride can come along and have 5 different makeup looks. She's paying for one trial, so that's really one look. Of course, we can do some little tweaks if she wants to change the lip color, for instance, or perhaps add a little bit of a wing to that eye look that you've done. That's fine, but there's no way that I would be taking everything off and doing a completely different makeup look. That would incur an additional fee. And one of the things that I do find is that the bride will often come to me with 3 or 4 pictures of completely different looks. So this is where your communication is really important. And you can say to her, well, what is it that you particularly like about this image? And, sometimes it might just be, oh, I like how the cheek is really glowy there, or I really like that eyeshadow color. So just get a bit of an idea of what it is that she likes about those images. Again, communication is really important there. And the last point, of course, is how much should you charge for a trial? There's no reason that you should be doing a bridal trial or a formal trial or any sort of trial for an event for free. I do sometimes hear about artists offering to do free trials, but I don't believe that we should be working for free when someone is giving us direction on what we do. So I charge the same amount for my trials as I do on the wedding day. In actual fact, a trial is more work, so we probably should be charging more. However, my recommendation is to charge the same as you do on the wedding day or thereabouts. And obviously, if the bride does want to trial several different looks, I would be then charging accordingly. So I hope that's answered some of your questions about bridal trials. If you do have any more questions, please pop them down into the comments box down below, and I'll make sure that I come back and answer any of those questions that you have. If you've gotten value from this video, I'd love it if you would give me a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you'll see next time a video is uploaded. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.